How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, I have not lost sight of Botham Jean tragic murder. I have not lost sight at all. And the way I'm going to go with this may be slightly off, but y'all will get the bigger picture. It's been too damn long. Too damn long. We're waiting for the grand jury. Faith Johnson. Now you are the DA and you done pulled all kind of stall tactics because you worried about the midterm elections. See, my royal family, you know, there's so many other events that are going on in this cesspool that sometimes we lose sight. And my fellow YouTubers, we got to keep these stories alive. And I did see Lisa Cabrera on her channel that Botham's family is suing the city of Dallas, rightfully so. But I'm going to take it a little bit of a different direction and see what's the hell going on with the DA and her stall tactics. Now, I have an article here that I'm not going to read because it's so lengthy, because I have some longer videos to play that'll give the royal family a full picture of who this person is and how dusty she is. Now, this article here is a timeline, how the case has unfolded since Dallas officer Amber Geiger killed Botham Jean. So, when I was just scrolling along, just looking at it, okay, we got here September 6th. It don't take that fucking long to put together a grand jury. And there it is right here, excuse me. All the way now to October 26th. And you might as well say it's November. And I knew that this was going to happen, you know, when I realized that, you know, she's worried about her immediate situation. So the research that I had did on Faith Johnson a couple of weeks ago, she was never elected. She was selected by the governor in her state, in the state of Texas, and she is a Republican, but she tries to hide that she's a Republican. And I heard out of her own lips that she loved the police. So I'm going to be it'd be really interesting to see how this is going to unfold, if she'll be able to maintain her position, because she ain't doing her job. I mean, when I heard she said we are still investigating and we interviewed over 200 people, I'm like, damn, 200 people? You know, these people ain't right how they get down. So I have two videos I'm going to play for the royal family. So let's just get into it. This first video is a little bit over 11 minutes.
To consume all the attention since it's the most competitive statewide race, but the biggest local race in Dallas County, at least, is for district attorney. Not only could it be a close race, but perhaps a long night on Election Day. This morning, we're talking to both candidates individually. First up, the Democrat, former judge, John Creuzot. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Morning.
Let's start with a couple of the basics here, too. We've seen a lot of the attack ads your opponent is running against you on TV, saying that you lost track of 5,000 felons when you presided over the probation department.
Right.
I don't recollect you presiding over that, but how would you respond to this ad?
Well, there's no such thing as my presiding over the probation department. The basis of this ad is a Dallas Morning News article. Let me just read it to you. We were talking about absconders. And in 2005, when Faith Johnson was one of my colleagues, we voted to implement a new program to go get those absconders. And what the study says, what the article says, is John Creuzot and his colleagues who oversee the probation department her ads have turned that into that I personally had control of the probation department, which is illegal.
And one thing the ad says, too, Judge, is specifically about an individual who got out and went and killed a police officer.
Yes. So I looked that up. Guess what? Not in my court. So none of this is correct. None of it is true. It's all just fake news.
Well, let me ask you about, interesting you throw fake news in there as well, too. Faith Johnson, now she got a conviction on Roy Oliver, the Balch Springs police officer who shot and killed the unarmed black teenager. She's prosecuting the Dallas officer for killing Botham Jean in his own apartment over there in Southside Place. Where do you see that she's vulnerable?
Well, what I think is that she's trying to hide the fact that she's a Republican. And what she's done is created banners around the county, and in the southern sector of the county they have her picture, and everywhere else they do not. And that's obviously trying to not let the voters know who she is and what party she affiliates herself with, number one. But number two, I think the fact that we are focused in our campaign on positive message of criminal justice reform. As you know, I have a long history of criminal justice reform. I was the first judge in the state of Texas to tackle this issue of mass incarceration. And we had phenomenal results. We reduced crime, we saved money, we did it with low-level offenders, we did it with high-risk offenders, and we had great results. In 2005, the Texas legislature realized that in addition to 150,000 bids, we needed another 17,000, and that was unsustainable. So what worked to reduce that population, or what could they do? They looked back to the programs, and the philosophical underpinning of those programs became the beginning of the ending of mass incarceration by closing 8 prisons in the state of Texas. So that's what I bring to this, on a positive message as to what I can do and what my focus is as a national expert on criminal justice reform to this office.
John, you know, when the district attorney took over, she had to pull an office out of the ditch and stabilize it.
Yes.
Has she not done that?
I think so, yes. I will give her credit for that. I certainly will.
And I'd like to know, I know that she's discussed forcing gun surrender for suspects who are out on bond, on domestic violence suspects in those cases. What's your position on that?
Actually, that is not her position. Judge Rob Conyers was the first one to start it. So
she has a program.
She has a program. She's taken up where he started.
Right. How do you feel about gun surrender for people who have not yet been adjudicated?
It's an absolute must. In fact, it's the law. This is not a discretionary program. Okay, it's not something that someone decided, I think it's a good idea to do. It's been written into the law, but it's been unenforced. And so what Judge Rob Conyers did a couple of years ago was develop a program, and so the rest of everybody else are following his lead.
Judge, this is all about the southern sector, keeping voters down there in that Democratic stronghold from voting for Faith Johnson. How close do you expect this race to be November the 6th?
You know, I really don't know. And let's be honest, this time in 2016, nobody had any idea that Trump would be in the White House. Okay, so all these numbers and polls and this, that, and the other, the only thing I know to do is to keep working hard, keep knocking on doors. I've knocked on well over 3,000 doors during this campaign.
All in the southern sector?
The vast majority, not necessarily all. There have been a few days where I've been somewhere else because we've done it as a group. But the vast majority of my door knocking has been in the southern sector and talking to citizens who vote about their concerns about the criminal justice system and what they want to see.
Do you think you're winning? If so, why?
I don't know if I'm winning. So I'm going to act as though I'm not. I can tell you that. We're going to keep working.
Are you seeing Democratic voters in the southern sector shift over to your opponent?
Not from what I've seen knocking on the doors, but that's anecdotal, not empirical.
And then final question, 30 seconds left here too. You were both judges for years, you and Faith Johnson. Biggest difference between you two, what is it?
Oh, I think that I'm focused on ending mass incarceration, and I think that I have the experience to deal with crime reduction and taxpayer dollar savings. All of my programs have recognized that, have been recognized for doing that, and I've got a record that I'm going to bring to this office, and we're going to bring new, innovative ideas, things that she's had 2 years to do and hasn't done. And we're looking forward to getting in and really changing the tone and the direction of criminal justice in Dallas County.
Sounds good. John Creuzot, the Democrat for District Attorney in Dallas County, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we switch out the candidates, a quick note about early voting. This is the final week you can cast a ballot early. Polls remain open all week. They're open even today, but Monday through Friday they're open 7 to 7. Last day to early vote is Friday, November the 2nd. Now to the Republican incumbent, Faith Johnson. Governor Abbott appointed her to the job in 2016. She took office in 2017. She is now running for her first full term. Good morning to you, Faith.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming on. Let's start with the attack ad we've seen on the airwaves lately. We just talked to your opponent who said the attack ad is misleading. It's wrong that he never ran the probation department, and the individual highlighted in there didn't even come out of his court.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
We have the Dallas Morning News article that was out in 2005 and 2007. He was the presiding judge. The judges oversee the probation department, so as a presiding judge, he did. So go back to that article, and they attempted to try to talk to him about it, so it is correct.
And you mentioned judges. He mentioned the word judges also, plural as well, too. Yeah. Is it fair to pin that on him since
he's
all the
presiding
judges?
Judge.
So as presiding judge.
Yeah, he's the presiding judge.
Let's shift off to the news we've seen in the past 6 months or so. You got a lot of public support after the murder conviction of Roy Oliver, the Balch Springs officer who shot and killed the unarmed black teenager. You were on the defense, though, during the Botham case after the white officer went into his apartment and shot and killed him. How much does that investigation hurt your campaign?
I don't think it did. If you remember, the mother came out. We sat down with her for 3 hours and literally laid the case out for her, and she was so pleased with the work we've done. We've already interviewed over 200 witnesses. We still got different forensic evidence that we're trying to collect. She was very pleased, and I don't know if you remember when she came on TV and said, hey, I trust D.A. Johnson. I'm satisfied with the investigation, and I trust her decision in terms of when this thing goes to the grand jury. So I think she's the most important person in this case. Keep in mind, me as your DA, I'm committed to equal justice. I'm committed to balance. I'm committed to making certain that justice is done for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, black, white, purple, green, rich, poor, young, old. That's my commitment. And so she felt very comfortable about what I'm doing on that case.
And as far as that case goes, when do you expect prosecutors might present that to the grand jury? This year or next year or what?
It should be this year. We're still collecting evidence, and because we want to be able to present everything that we have to the grand jury. We don't want to leave anything out. And I explained that to the mom, and I gave her the option. I said, look, these are the things we got left to do. And what has happened throughout the country, yeah. DAs have presented evidence to the grand jury, sloppily did something, presented it to the grand jury, and they've come back with a no bill. If you look at Dallas County, we have been very committed to making certain that justice is done in this county. And we have done this in a phenomenal way, and when you compare us with other counties throughout the country, we are #1 in terms of making certain that bad officers get prosecuted. Remember, we support officers. We love officers. 99% of these officers do a great job, but I will not tolerate a bad officer, and we've proven that.
And last quick question on that case. I want to talk politics in the last moments here too. But on that case, will you guys pursue a manslaughter charge, what the Rangers suggested, or will you pursue something higher than that?
We're going to present the evidence in the law to the grand jury, and the grand jury is going to know exactly what to do.
You know, this is a very local race and a very national year. How do you respond when someone says, do you support President Trump?
I say to people, it's amazing. I have over 100,000 prayer warriors, and we pray often. And one of the lines we said, this is not that. My position as the Dallas County District Attorney is to make certain that justice is done for everybody. What happens locally has nothing to do, nationally has nothing to do with what we're doing locally. We are serving the people of Dallas County. We look at what I've done. I came in there, brought the morale up in the Dallas County DA's office. We got a strong conviction integrity unit. We've expanded that unit. We have prosecuted police officers who shot unarmed citizens. We've expanded we've started our satellite offices, and people don't have to come down to the Frank Crowley's court building to be serviced. We have 16 satellite offices. I've done my Function Expo, where we have cleared records of almost 400 individuals in the last 2 years. So when you look at what we're doing, there's no way that people can say that we are performing for the people. It is about the people. And when you look at it, People can see my performance. It's not about promises. As my opponent says, he's promising things. You don't have to ask me about what I promised to do. I went in there with a plan. I had my plan ready in 30 days, and I implemented that plan, and we have literally done more than any DA's office in a long, long time.
Faith, you have clearly provided stability to the office, which hadn't had it in years, too. Early voting, though, underway right now. It's high. Democrats have huge turnout, at least in Dallas County. Final seconds, do you think that this is going to be a close race, long night?
It very well may be a little close, but we are making headways.
A little close. You sound confident.
Yeah, it may be a little close, but we're making headways in the South and all over. And we have people come up to me all the time and they say, hey, you're a Republican. And well, I've never voted for a Republican in my life. You're going to be the first one I vote for.
Faith, good luck to you. She is a...
You see how she dance around certain things, questions that he asked her directly. But, you know, you heard her at that last part. She said she was a Republican, and that's the first time I ever heard her say it. Like I said, I did weeks and weeks ago. I have did as much research as I can on her, because I'm not feeling, you know, with us being so vibrational, my royal family, I'm not feeling her. So, you know, back to this article that I'm going to pin in, and you're looking at the timeline, and I'm looking at the timeline, and if anybody look on my channel, I have done quite a few videos about our royal son, and you will see this picture right here. This is the main one that I'm using. That's the only one I'm going to use, because I'm going to stay on top of this. And I knew that she was going to pull these stall tactics. She ain't right. She ain't right. I don't care what she said that Botham's mother said, because you got to remember his family has lawyers, and lawyers orchestrate, and there may be some things they don't want their clients to say, because it will set off other things, or they'll know how you thinking within. It's all about playing chess, and this woman ain't right. She ain't right, and she playing. And they could have been took this to the grand jury, but again, it's gonna be real interesting. I will jump for joy that they vote her ass up out of there. We shall see. So anyway, I got one more video to show the royal family, show you how greasy she gets down.
Local race we're watching is for district attorney. We featured both candidates here, John Creuzot and Faith Johnson, on Inside Texas Politics yesterday. Yesterday, though, in the 24 hours since then, Creuzot is now calling out Johnson for what he says is a misleading attack ad, and it's one you've likely seen on the air.
John Creuzot presided over the probation department. He lost track of 5,000 felons.
Here's the problem, though. Creuzot never ran the probation department. As the presiding judge, which is kind of like a chief judge, state law only let Creuzot hire and fire a director of probation. Is this ad fair?
Yeah, it is fair, because
How
for
so,
probation,
though?
it is fair. Because Jason, if you're the leader, think about it.
This afternoon, Republican Faith Johnson dug in to defend her attack ad. He didn't preside over the probation department. There's a probation director that ran that.
Well, he presided over the probation. He ultimately is the one over it.
But he didn't preside over it. He helped hire the guy.
Yeah, but the presiding judge and the judges preside over the probation department. Ultimately, they are responsible for the probation department.
The ad then makes a more serious allegation.
One of Creuzot's lost felons was a Zeta drug cartel-linked criminal who then shot and killed a Dallas police officer after Creuzot lost track of him.
On Sunday's Inside Texas Politics, Creuzot said it's just not true.
Guess what? Not in my court. So none of this is correct. None of it is true. It's all just fake news.
Michael Noyes is the individual who ran the probation department for Dallas County, elected by all the judges. And in a letter this afternoon, he wrote, quote, District Attorney Faith Johnson's claims are blatantly and patently false.
So Noyes will literally probably say anything right now. I have no idea.
Why did you vote for him, though? when he was confirmed.
Well, that's one thing
2005.
for him. How do you know how somebody's going to ultimately turn out?
Johnson insists that Creuzot micromanaged the probation department and alleges that he was deeply involved beyond the limits of the law. 40 words in 30 seconds, indicative of how competitive this race remains. So what's going on here? The attack ad and Johnson's defense of it suggests two things. She raised more money than him and has cash to spend to attack her opponent, or she knows this race is close. Everyone thinks it will be as well, too, and Johnson is doing everything she can to get Democrats to switch sides and vote for her. A week from tomorrow, we'll find out whether any of it worked. Reporting live, Jason Whiteley, Channel 8 News.
All right, Jason. Don't forget, of course, to check out the WFAA Voter Guide. You can catch up on all the hot races. WFAA political reporter Jason Whiteley going to be breaking down some of the races across North Texas.
Okay.
Look for that voter guide.
That ain't necessary. I just wanted to show, how she get down, how you can tell, well, politicians, they're liars. They outright liars, and most politicians are lawyers. So they do a lot of unquote wordplay. So her priorities is not about this at this point, and it don't take that damn long to put together a grand jury. I've literally seen them do it overnight, and I knew they was going to do it once I realized that she was running, or let's say, yeah, she's running, but she's trying to hold her position. Because remember, she's never ran. She was appointed because the other DA has some mental health issues and had to drop off. And this is utterly ridiculous. In September, and it's November now. Tomorrow it'll be November. So we shall see. But like I said, I will definitely put the link here, and I know we're gonna mix it up. And like I said, the vibes that I feel off of this woman, I'm not feeling her. I'm just not feeling her. And they need to take care of fucking business. And Amber Geiger, it's like she don't even fucking exist, and everything. And Botham's family is not playing. They're gonna follow through on this. So anyway, my royal family, just wanted to keep y'all updated. So my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.